everybody can. Yeah. So yeah, but yeah, I thought it was a great, and I kept talking about it. A couple people emailed me later. They were surprised how I kept talking about this is a learning experience for me. I mean, I've done a couple of the, obviously I teach online all the time, but not a formal NLP class like that. I did the essentials and this. So I like yesterday when we did the witch's brew, and it worked. It worked pretty well. I remember setting it up going, I don't know if it's going to work. Well, give it a shot, you know, we'll see what happens.
Now,
and so it's a good learning experience.
Yeah. Now, did you record the classes?
Mm-hmm.
Well, because I think that's very important because people.
Yeah, I created a Facebook group, private Facebook group. What's it? If you want in, it's NLP Basic 2020. And so I'm uploading the videos there because I didn't want to create another goddamn WordPress site with video. That's a pain in the ass, to be honest with you. And I didn't want to put it on YouTube. I know you could do YouTube private, right? But I've done that before where the Facebook group is private and I can just keep track, you know, because to be honest, there's one person he hasn't paid yet and he's in, you know, I know he watched the video. So I kind of texted him going, either not quite this bad, pay up or I'm going to throw you out of the group. Then you can't watch the videos, you know, because it wasn't in the live class. So, and because Facebook works pretty well. Now, yesterday, the first night was 2 hours, 2.5 hours, something like that. That was okay. And I put that one up pretty easy. And then Saturday, we started at 10. We went to about 5-ish, give or take. Yeah, 4:35. And I broke it up into 2 recordings. I did the morning, then I stopped the recording, then I did the afternoon. And then I ended up being 3 recordings. Great. Yesterday, I said, I'm going to try something. I recorded all day. I would hit pause because I forgot with Zoom, you can pause it like when you're doing a break or when they're off doing an exercise, because then all you can see is the main screen. So, so I would pause it. And then when you come back, hit record. And it ended up being about a 3.5 hour, I think, recording. Right? Because it's mainly me talking and setting things up. Right? So I think next weekend when I do it all day, I'm going to try, but it took forever to fucking upload that thing, man. 3 hours of video. Oh man, it took forever. And I had to re-upload it twice into Facebook. So I think I'm going to break it up into 2 again. And I have to give myself notes. It says right there, record and pause. Because there were a couple, I forget to hit pause and the people were off doing an exercise. And it just shows a blank screen for like 20 minutes. I could go in and edit it, but I'm just uploading the video, right? Because I didn't have, but as long as I remember record and pause, it's a pretty thing. And then I found out if I got like a group, like what do we have, like 15 people there, and I break people up in groups. If I leave the recording on and I'm jumping in and out of groups, it will record me in the group, at the group.
Oh, you can record the groups.
Yeah. If I come in, like if you 2 are working and I just came in, it would record us talking. So I'm going to have to mention that to people.
Okay.
You know, and that if you're going to work on an issue, this is for us trainers. If you decide, Bob, you're going to work on an issue you would rather not have recorded, right? Shoot me a text. That's why I gave my phone number, right? Or give me a message, and I'd make sure, okay, I won't go into that group. You know, because I mean, we wouldn't want to jump in the group right in the middle of the sentence where Michelle's going, yes, I like to kill and eat children. That might not be, you know, plus it, yeah. So
that's what I do.
Now, regarding the groups, couldn't you have live streamed into the group instead of trying to load it up?
I could have. I could have. I might try that one of the nights. Because I let the group know, Michelle can tell you that I was like, hey, this is a learning experience for me too. I don't claim, plus they keep changing shit every other day on Facebook anyway, and Zoom. So it's like, you know, like I accidentally turned off that thing where when I break people up into groups, you have to turn something on so you could broadcast a message so each group gets it, right? Because they won't get a chat. I found that out, right? You have to turn on broadcast message. So if you have 5 groups, if I broadcast like, hey, 10 minutes left, each group would get it. So I found that out this weekend. I guess Zoom fixed that. So
Well, Zoom, they're talking about some future updates on the whole system. They're going to have have more of an experience. And when I say experience, from what I understand, like for example, they're going to have like coffee moments, so you'll be able to, in essence, like smell the coffee through Zoom. I mean, I don't know. That's going to be interesting.
oh yeah.
How
Well, Tony Robbins 5 years ago tried to do one of his seminars where it was, I think he got a few hundred people, and they all had the virtual glasses, right? And so, he tried it, and it worked quite well from what people said, right? But he supposedly he said to his team, "This is about 10 years too early. Give it and that was if you go back 5, 6 years, I won't be surprised if we don't see him do that next year." Plus, he's 60 now, or 61, 62. Let's be honest. Bob and I, we got energy. Michelle's a younger. What are you, in your 40s, Michelle?
No, you're wonderful. I love you now. I mean,
Are
I've
you in
always
your
loved
50s?
you. I am in my mid 50s.
Okay. Well, we're high energy people, but still, it would be much easier. Plus Tony's got that $40 million house on the other coast with a studio in it. He could just do it right there. Have the music, have this, but if you're wearing those virtual glasses, I'd have loved to have been in the test group. I'm like, that would be an interesting experience. Look around, see all the people,
One of my I have a teen that he has these virtual glasses, like you're talking about the experience, and it's for gaming, but they go into a room and they can just like see each other virtually, the whole thing, and they sit down. It's like I guess like coffee moment, except they can just sit down and talk and do whatever they're doing. And then but it's like they go in this game to play, but they don't necessarily have to play. They can go like somewhere else just to hang out.
Yeah. But I mean, what was that movie? It was a Schwarzenegger movie where he was frozen and came back.
Yeah.
And with what's her name, and they talk about that you always had virtual sex, and he's trying to talk her into having real sex, and she goes, "Ew, touchy." And of course she did. She's like, "Whoa, I don't want." Yeah, whatever movie that was.
Yes, yes.
The bad guy in it.
Yeah. So a few years ago, I went in this one place. They brought in this whole mock-up in a room, and you go in with these VR glasses, and what they did, you would go into this room and you would experience everything in a room as if it was there. And as I walked through it, and you could see somebody being beaten up and everything, so you experience all the emotions as well, and it felt like it was real. I was like, so I was going to try to beat some dude up or something like that to
Oh my gosh.
beating, and it felt so real because you can see like all this kind of blood coming out and being splattered all over the place, and I mean it was all around, and
so then your brain takes that as real.
It felt so real. And then I went into another room, and I was walking along the edge of a cliff, and I could look over, and it felt so real, as if I was there. I could look around, and it was 360 degrees up and down, all around. It just was.
Yeah, I wonder if they're starting to really incorporate that into like spec ops and hostage negotiation stuff and all that, because it is that you know, a lot of this comes from that, what's it, Defense Intelligence Agency anyway,
Mhm.
you know, Defense Research, DARPA, Defense, whatever
Yep.
that thing is, that
Yep.
because that'd be a great way to train for missions.
Yep.
Could load it up so we know what the room looks like. We know where, you know, You know, now they actually, the SEALs and those Marine Recon, they actually build the buildings sometimes, right? But you know that, but I'm like,
Yep.
wow,
Yeah, it would really just ramp it up to the next level. And I was thinking about at that time when I was experiencing it, I said, you know, I could utilize something like this if I could develop and work with some of these people for something like hypnosis and NLP, both in a therapeutic way, but also teaching classes.
that's why, like, I think that's where Tony Robbins got the idea.
Yep.
You know, because like, well, like you say, he's 61 or 62 now, even though he's got his own plane and he's all that. Do you want to fly to India when you could do the same seminar in 27 locations?
Correct. You
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 know,
can actually be there on stage in these various locations. And so instead of like a virtual reality, be more like an augmented reality. So they can see you, you can see them.
well,
And
and I know he tried that and it worked in Singapore. I don't think it worked in the other place where, well, but mainly they use video. But so like the 2,000 people showed up in the room and he had all his, you know, assistants, co-trainer, the people, all those people are volunteers, right? So they show up and they're actually helping, but he would do it via this way. And that was his big plan, is eventually then, like you say, get 1,000 people in the room, have his assistants there. They're doing when they do the breakouts, you could take the glasses off and do all that. Then when it's time, put the glasses back on. And then you experience Tony or Jay Abraham, all those people he always has at his seminars, right?
Yep.
And I'm like, and he's got the money to do it. Yeah, that's what would stop me and you, I think, because I know, like, when I was at, what was I at? Date with Destiny the first time, there were 2,500 people. 2,500, and the cheap seats were $4,000, right? The most, it was 4 to 10, depending on how you got in, right? So you run the numbers, it's $1 million seminar. But then somebody that was running says, well, you know, he actually broke even on the seminar. His goal is to break even. And people go, he couldn't spend $1 million. If you've been to a, yes, he could. I mean, everywhere you look, there were screens like you see in a football stadium, right? He pipes in extra air conditioning to keep the room at 68 degrees, 66
Wow.
to 68 degrees. So when you ever been to one? When you pull up, you see all these trucks and they're just generators with air conditioners because he wants the room cold, right? And it's fascinating, right? Because I told somebody and they go, that's how I got rich. I go, nah, actually, because at the one we were at, I think they signed up 40 people for his platinum partnership at $100,000. That's where you know,
Yes.
he's doing that to get you in the platinum part. Because a couple times he said, and for all my people up front, he talked to them more, walk around, and he'd go, if anybody wants to join this and next time be up front, just see one of the assistants.
Yep.
And you got millionaires in the room who like 100 grand, it's a business expense anyway. And that's what he said. It's a write-off. It's a write-off.
Yeah, they can all afford it. Just like you mentioned Jay Abraham, because I had gone through Jay's program, his weekend marketing mastermind back in 1989. So that was $5,000 for a week. And then I signed up for his protege mentor program, and that was $25,000 for 1 week. And then I went through his PEQ program, and that was about just a little bit over a week, and it was $40,000 back in the 90s. And at that time, Jay Abraham was getting paid $5,000 an hour. So now, Jay Abraham, if you were to hire him for an 8-hour day, you would have to pay $120,000 to bring him in to do consulting. So that's the kind of group. So it's more the mindset. And I was thinking, yeah, this is pretty amazing that people would pay that much money for consulting services or for one of Jay's books, because like Jay had a book, what was it? I'm trying to think. It was stealth marketing, and that book, and he still sells it as a PDF. But that book is $995. His Mr. X book is $495. And I was thinking, how do you create, the want for it? So if you limit it, because we me, Will, we know that if you have a limited edition of something, now a PDF book is not a limited edition. People can just download and everything like that. But if you say it, then people would want it. Yeah. And so, Will, how can you create a limited edition of something that you have, or you can create that you can sell for